Well, the world's toughest COVID restrictions are finally being wound back in China, signalling a major shift in direction by leader Xi Jinping. Residents in major Chinese cities are enjoying newfound freedoms, with many testing requirements and health checks dropped. While China's strict COVID-0 policy has saved many lives, it's also inflicted a heavy economic toll. Well, joining us now to talk about how this could affect us here in New Zealand too is John McKinnon, the chairperson of the New Zealand-China Council. Hi, John. So tell me, how will the loosening of these COVID rules change the economic relationship between us and China?
Well, we're like you, probably studying them closely to figure out how it's going to work out. But I think the key thing is that it should make it easier for people to come and go. That might take a little while to play through. But if we can increase the possibility of New Zealanders and Chinese getting together person to person, face to face, that will be good for our business.
Yeah, and what kind of impact has the tough Chinese lockdown had on businesses here who really rely on those Chinese imports?
Well, it certainly has had an impact, but I would say the biggest impact is probably in the services trade area. We talked about this in a report we put out last week, because obviously the flow of students and the flow of tourists almost dried up completely, and that's those two areas, which have been key parts of our relationship with China, have taken a huge hit from the impact of COVID. So I would say that's probably as large an impact as that which has been occurred through specific logistical supply issues.
Yeah, that's a big industry, isn't it? So is there a risk that this could backfire, lead to more COVID cases in China and just make the situation more difficult again?
Well, I think there is a risk, and it's been identified by the authorities themselves, because they've indicated that with the relaxation of some of the very stringent requirements, that you could see a spike in cases, and I think that would be a very prudent way of looking at it. So this is part of a package which is saying, yes, we are going to take steps to remove some of the restrictions. We're going to target them more against vulnerable people in vulnerable parts of the country. But overall, we think that we need to go in this direction. So there's definitely a risk attached.
Just lastly and quickly, John, for businesses looking at China right now, wondering whether to ramp up trade with them, are there still big risks?
Well, I think any market always has risks. I think in China, what these measures are telling us is that China's grappling with what we grappled some time ago. How do you move on from COVID? And that's a big change, and I think it's an important area for New Zealand businesses to grasp as they think about their future in China. It seems to me, though, that it's largely positive for those businesses.
John McKinnon, Chair of the New Zealand-China Council, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.